Welcome and thank you for joining today's session. We are Open Knowledge Foundation Greece, and in this webinar we will introduce the Open Data Marketplace, or ODM, that was developed in the context of the UPCAST project to support trusted public data exchange between public organizations, SMEs, and other stakeholders. This training is part of the UPCAST project, which aims to enable trusted and efficient data sharing between public administrations, businesses, and SMEs. We will explore how ODM works, why data marketplaces matter, and how ODM has been used in real pilot deployments. Here is a quick overview of today's session. We will begin with the motivation behind data marketplaces, then introduce ODM and its core capabilities. Next, we'll walk through key functions with a guided demonstration and conclude with a real use case from the Thessaloniki data space pilot. For small and medium-sized enterprises, access to public data is a key enabler of innovation and growth. Yet, in many cases, this data remains difficult to reuse, not because it's unavailable, but because the rules and policies that define its use are often unclear or unpublished. The Open Data Marketplace helps bridge this gap. It offers a trusted environment where public bodies can publish both their datasets and the policies that govern them, making access conditions transparent and easy to understand. This process not only supports small and medium-sized enterprises in finding and reusing trustworthy data, but also helps public administrations gain confidence in sharing their data responsibly. With this in mind, let's take a closer look at what the Open Data Marketplace actually is and how it works. The Open Data Marketplace, or ODM, first emerged as an early demonstrator within the UPCAST project, a space where partners could test how data sharing might work in practice. From these first experiments, ODM was designed and developed into an open-source platform for trusted and flexible data exchange. It supports both open public datasets and those that require specific access policies or negotiated terms, offering organizations the ability to manage data according to their own governance rules. Beyond simple publication, ODM introduces negotiation and transparency, giving users the tools to define how data can be accessed, reused, or combined with confidence. Next, we'll look at the philosophy behind ODM, how it helps build trust, reduce uncertainty, and make public data truly usable. The Open Data Marketplace was conceived not just as a catalog, but as a platform for trusted and policy-aware data exchange. It integrates recognized standards such as ODRL for rights management and DPV for data privacy and compliance, ensuring that data sharing remains both interoperable and responsible. Importantly, ODM is designed to be adopted by larger public authorities that wish to create their own public data ecosystems, bringing in their local organizations, small and medium enterprises, and other data consumers under a unified governance framework. This transforms public data from something that is simply available into something that is actively governed, trusted, and used, fueling innovation across the public and private sectors. Next, we'll see how this philosophy is reflected in the technical architecture of ODM. The Open Data Marketplace is built on a modular, open-source architecture that combines flexibility, interoperability, and trust. At its foundation, it relies on the Drupal framework, extended with Drupal Commerce, which manages the common elements of any exchange, such as carts, orders, stores, and access to files or services once an exchange is complete. On top of this foundation, custom modules enable the integration of UPCAST plugins, extending the marketplace with specialized capabilities for discovery, pricing, policy enforcement, and monitoring. ODM also interfaces with UPCAST dashboards, which are applications designed to operate alongside the marketplace. They communicate seamlessly through programming interfaces, demonstrating how different UPCAST components can interoperate without being tightly coupled. an intentional design choice that ensures openness and flexibility. At the core of ODM lies a negotiation mechanism that facilitates data sharing agreements between providers and consumers. Providers express their usage policies using ODRL, while consumers declare the intended conditions under which they plan to process the data using DPV to describe their privacy and compliance considerations. The system aligns these two vocabularies to negotiate and establish a machine-readable agreement, defining clear and transparent terms for data access and reuse. This layered standards-based architecture, combining open-source technology, semantic interoperability, and policy awareness, allows ODM to integrate smoothly into larger public data ecosystems, fostering both scalability and institutional trust. Next, we'll see how these architectural foundations are extended through the integration of UPCAST plugins, which bring advanced functionality to the marketplace. The Open Data Marketplace serves as a testbed and integration hub for UPCAST plugins, showing how advanced data exchange concepts operate in practice. Each plugin contributes unique functionality that extends the marketplace. The Discovery plugin allows external discovery services and applications to access ODM's dataset listings and include them in their own indexes, improving visibility and reuse beyond the marketplace itself. A reverse integration is also in development, which will enable ODM to enhance its own internal search results using the Discovery plugin's intelligent search capabilities. The Pricing plugin supports estimation of a dataset's potential economic value, while the Environmental Footprint plugin assesses the storage and processing impact of data resources, encouraging sustainability. The Policy Engine validates the compatibility between provider policies and consumer intentions, expressed respectively in ODRL and DPV, ensuring that the terms of exchange can lead to a clear, machine-readable agreement. The monitoring functionality, currently under development, will provide a controlled execution environment for processing data without requiring direct download, supporting secure, policy-aware data usage. ODM operates in two modes. In the dashboard-based mode, ODM functions purely as a backend for discovery and authentication. No policy validation or enforcement takes place here. Those aspects are managed entirely within the UPCAST dashboards. In the in-platform mode, users work directly within ODM to publish datasets, request access, and negotiate usage terms through the integrated functionality. This mode provides a hands-on experience of the complete data exchange workflow. Together, these components make ODM a dynamic and intelligent marketplace, capable of supporting discovery, evaluation, negotiation, and responsible reuse within a trusted, interoperable ecosystem. Next, we'll look at how these capabilities have been applied in a real-world setting through the Thessaloniki Open Data Space case study. But before that, let's walk through the main marketplace functions. In the demo, we will look at the publishing interface, dataset search, policy attach, and request cycles, showing how users interact as providers or consumers. Let's begin from the perspective of a data provider. The first step is to advertise a dataset, which in ODM means adding it as a product to the provider's store. During this process, the provider fills in the dataset attributes according to the DCAT standard, including categories, tags, and descriptive metadata that help others discover it later. At the same stage, the provider defines the ODRL policy, describing the usage conditions under which the data can be accessed or reused. This includes permissions, obligations, and restrictions, forming the foundation for any future negotiation with data consumers. To make the dataset obtainable, the provider adds at least one distribution, which also follows the DCAT model. Each distribution can be configured to be publicly available, accessible only after negotiation, or unpublished, so it can be offered selectively to specific consumers. For public datasets, the price defaults to free, but the UPCAST pricing plugin can be activated to apply market-based or regulated pricing models, depending on the context. The UPCAST Environmental Impact plugin can also provide information on the storage and processing footprint of the dataset, supporting sustainability monitoring. The provider may use the marketplace's built-in data exchange mechanisms or handle exchanges independently according to the terms of each contract. Once the dataset and its distributions are published, along with their policies, they appear in the provider's store, ready to be discovered by data consumers. Now let's switch to the data consumer's perspective. The consumer, looking for a dataset, arrives at the marketplace and uses the faceted search functionality to browse and identify relevant datasets. They can also take an alternative route, visiting a specific provider's store directly to explore available datasets there. If a dataset's distribution is publicly available, the consumer can simply add it to their cart and check out to download it. In other cases, where the distribution requires negotiation or is not yet available, the consumer can initiate a new negotiation process or request access to that distribution. During this process, the consumer includes their data processing details expressed using the DPV schema, specifying the intended conditions under which they plan to process the data. The provider then reviews the request and can respond with an offer, which may involve modifying their policy, suggesting a new distribution, or proposing a different price. Once both parties agree, the provider confirms the agreement, the consumer verifies it, and the negotiation is finalized. At that point, the provider delivers the dataset distribution according to the agreed terms. If, however, the two sides can't reach an agreement, the negotiation can be terminated at any stage before finalization. And with that, we conclude this short demonstration of how data providers and consumers interact through the open data marketplace, from dataset publication and discovery to negotiation and exchange under clear, standardized conditions. To understand how the open data marketplace performs in a real-world setting, let's look at the Thessaloniki Open Data Space, one of the first pilot deployments of ODM within the UPCAST project. The Thessaloniki Open Data Space was designed as a regional ecosystem that connects public authorities, municipal organizations, and research institutions, while opening their data for broader use by small and medium enterprises, developers, and citizens. The deployment involved more than 10 active data providers and over 100 datasets, with a particular focus on urban and environmental information, including mobility, infrastructure, and sustainability-related data. ODM acted as the underlying marketplace engine, enabling the publication of datasets, management of metadata, and negotiation of access conditions. The platform was also used as a sandbox for testing UPCAST plugins, such as discovery, pricing, and environmental footprint, under realistic operating conditions. Importantly, this deployment provided real-world validation for the ODM architecture. It demonstrated that a regional public authority can use the marketplace not only to publish data but also to coordinate participation across its local ecosystem, inviting subordinate organizations and external innovators to collaborate. The Thessaloniki pilot also served as the technical foundation for the Open Up Hackathon, where participants built new applications using real data published through the marketplace, confirming its usability, openness, and readiness for community-driven innovation. Next, we'll summarize the key takeaways and lessons learned from this deployment, and how ODM supports trusted data sharing at scale. The Thessaloniki pilot demonstrated how the open data marketplace can operate as a trusted and transparent data exchange environment, one that brings together public authorities, small and medium-sized enterprises, and data innovators. It confirmed that the combination of open-source technology, semantic standards, and policy-aware negotiation can turn open data from a static asset into a living ecosystem of collaboration and reuse. The pilot also validated the modular architecture of ODM. Each component, from Drupal and Drupal Commerce to the UPCAST plugins, worked together through standard interfaces, showing that the marketplace can be adapted and extended for different regional or sectoral contexts. Another important takeaway was adoption readiness. Public authorities were able to manage and publish datasets confidently, while SMEs gained access to trustworthy, well-described data under clearly defined conditions. Finally, the Thessaloniki Open data space proved that marketplaces like ODM can scale beyond a single project, serving as the foundation for broader public data ecosystems and future European data spaces. Next, we'll wrap up with the available resources and contact points for exploring ODM and the UPCAST project further. You can explore more through the available resources, the UPCAST project website, the ODM demo instance, and the Thessaloniki Data Space portal. For questions, access requests, or collaboration opportunities, feel free to contact our team. Thank you for joining this session and for your interest in the Open Data Marketplace and the UPCAST project.